Okay, let me read this chest code open real quick. Hello, Spikelings. It's a nice shirt you're wearing. I'm your host, Aspiring Spike, and I'm trying out my new psychic abilities today in the Typhoon with Esper, Ketraflayer. I can already foresee many trophies thanks to Ketramose and counterspells flaying our opponents and ending their perfect league runs. Let's seize the day and get to the chase. Help the channel by clinging to your subs, commenting, gifting subs, scouring the Spikeling store, and offering a prayer at the Hallowed Shrine of Clothis. Thank you so much. Although I guess Ketramose is kind of our new god, so they printed like a little mini Zatalpa. Zatalpa, lifelink, indestructible, also double strike, flying. I think there's one more key. I think vigilance too. But the most important of those keywords are indestructible and lifelink. Also, okay, very sad. The Menace on Ketramose, you can't get with Soulflayer. Soulflayer was printed before Menace was a keyword. It's not listed here. But Urborg Scavengers would work. Funny enough. That being said, this is basically Esper Frog, right? With Ketramose and Soulflayer as your new top end angle. And I'm really excited about this angle too. We've played against a few different Esper Frog builds. I actually started off on Yindrik's build that he top aided with. I think that these decks are kind of underrated. I think that obviously Ketramose is really broken. I think it plays well in the archetype. And then the big issue seems to be like managing your graveyard hate cards, like Relic of Progenitus with stuff like Oculus. But I'm thinking at the time that there's a good chance that Soulflayer ends up being better. I think it's a little bit less awkward to manage with stuff like Cling to Dust and Relic of Progenitus. Soulflayer also, just like Oculus, but maybe a little bit easier, can trigger Ketramose, delving, exiling from the yard. What's also good about Soulflayer is that this is an additional source of life gain in the deck because turning into a lifelinker is a really big deal. Now, I'm not very interested in pairing Soulflayer in this version of this deck with actual Zatalpa, especially because Zatalpa is losing a lot of its value because the most important keywords are already on Ketramose. I think all you need to do is play Ketramose and Riverwinder, which I think is kind of what's exciting about this deck, right? Is this card's crazy. You play Riverwinders, which you can just cycle and put in the graveyard and delve over to give Soulflayer Hexproof. If you play this as a 2-mana 4/4 Hexproof, that's a pretty good rate as well. Psychic Frog obviously goes with the Ketramose too really well, and I think just everything has come together really harmoniously here, for lack of yeah, I'm a hater of the Dark Blast tech. I have not really seen it look good. I am not a believer. If you are on the other side of the equation, let me know. All right, let's concede and go to their. Just kidding. It says surprise. Mill players really love. They really love that they're on mill. No, nobody's ever having fun like mill players. By just in time to suggest terrible creatures deck style Soulflayer. So yeah, that is kind of course, what's really nice I think about being able to build the deck in this way. And I did think about playing looting plus terrible creatures plus Flage. And I thought about playing Malevolent Rumble plus terrible creatures plus Flage. And I'm like, what if we just didn't play awful unplayable cards in this deck? Oh, you're actually playing Soulflayer? Yeah, I am. Yeah, it's not. I don't know why you think on this channel I'd have a card title in the name and it wouldn't be in the deck, but we don't do that here. We don't lie about the card names. We lie about everything else. Magic Aids put up a freestyle catcher list. Looks the weird if you want to see it. I guess I can can open on mute. Magic Aids humor is just really not for me. I just had to stop ever clicking on any of their videos. So, how do we feel about? So the problem with the freeze strider stuff I'm interested to see how he built it. I'm okay to I think kill a crab if our opponent blocks here. I remember titles before Twin was advancing. We're playing Twin. Well, maybe I could have expected people to not think that Twin would be in the deck and that it's more of a comparison to the archetype, but I suppose that could be a little unrealistic. All right, let's take the 1 mana instant instead of the 2 mana sorcery. Does it have a deck list? Okay. Oh yeah, frog to turn off drown makes sense. Oh, this is kind of cool. I kind of like this part of the deck tech, like hide the cards. Wait. Yeah, my big thing is, like, you know, I've played a lot of Free Strider, obviously. And my big thing is that I really just don't think Urza Saga as, like, the only, like, good utility land to put into play is enough of, like, a reason to play Free Strider Lookout. I think you need to be hitting juicier lands. I think just casting, like, the Rampant Growths is not something I can get really excited about. One mana draw over -10 life. Well, you might notice this counterspell in my hand that I'm intending to point at the glimpse, which is much easier to counter than than the glimpse. Although we are getting just triple crabbed here, huh? So yeah, when I was looking at playing Free Strider in that kind of shell, I was looking at playing it with Amaria. So you ramp into Amaria and you get that going. Also, that, you know, yes, 1 mana draw 3 is like, this can draw you other things, right? All right, I guess we really want to hit a land. I don't know that we actually have too many lands left, but let's see if we can get in here and steal a game. All right, hopefully all spells over there, no lands. Hot Springs with the 30 months, appreciate you. Another Field of Ruin, good game. Pest Control seemed kind of nice. Kind of just down to go like up to 63 also, be a little bit juicier. This game is why I advocate for main deck Pest Control in any Esper deck. Well, I don't think the 2%, 1% mill gamers are the best argument. Especially with energy falling off, I'm not a big main deck Pest Control guy. Now that I've said it, Free Strider Ketramose Amaria sounds kind of hot. I mean, I've been talking about it for a while, but the problem is, when I've played Free Strider Amaria in the past, I've played Scrabbling Claws as my enabler, so I don't exile my own graveyard, so Amaria is online. But if you're playing Relic of Progenitus, it doesn't exactly work. My opponent's also gone up to 62, funny enough. So yeah, definitely keeping that one. Name is Dumb, 2 years next month. Happy almost anniversary. Field of Ruin go, huh? So we're going to get Archive Trapped for sure, Z's. When I was playing a ton of Modern, is mandatory, Emrakul, Endurance, and every sideboard, no exceptions. Yeah, Mill's kind of fallen off. Obviously, it's just like if Mill becomes more popular, you do that. All right, 2 Archive Traps. Are you done? Are you done? No, they also have Surgical. So I guess I need to un-F6 here. Dixon, 46 months. Thank you. Welcome back. 100% read the title of Soul Herder, was confused by the Riverwinder. It's funny. All right, exile Ketramose, exile. Oh, I don't have a Riverwinder? Oh, I do have one. I'm like, surely there's one in here. I'm also going to exile Soulflayer and Psychic Frog so that... Oh. I'm going to exile Soulflayer and Psychic Frog so I'm a little bit better against Surgical and Crypt Incursion. Just kind of minor, but... seems worth doing. We're here. I guess we have the Frog also for those cards. Hexproof, Indestructible Lifelink. Have you done any brewing with Soul Herder and Ketramose? If any, 8 3-mana grindy cards too many, or is Soul Herder too bad at finding? Is Soul Herder too bad, or any other findings? I mean, there's just like a lot of stuff going on there, I guess. Soulflayer is not very good. Is certainly yes. The short answer, or sorry, Soul Holder is Soulflayer too, I guess. Not very good. All right, I think I'm down to kill a crab. No, it doesn't have Menace. Menace was not a keyword when Soulflayer was invented. All right, it seems important to kill a crab here. And then we can make them chump next turn. If they did have Menace, we'd have lethal next turn. Hopefully they have a glimpse of their hand that we can snare. Why are we playing the Flare? Is it just for fun, or is there a reason it's better than normal threats? The answer is never just for fun here. We hate to have fun on this channel. Look at Soulflayer. This is a 2-mana hexproof indestructible lifelink. What's not in our deck? Zotalpa. This card also triggers Ketramose. This card also makes Ketramose able to attack and block really quickly. This is, I think, certainly enough reason to seriously consider this card as a direction to go for this archetype. Despite, like, I know that you are thinking about Soulflayer as a shitty meme card, but look what's in our deck. All fucking good cards. And Soulflayer is also rad here, too. Expand your horizons. Logan with the 15 months, thank you, welcome back. Did we have lethal that turn with Ketramose, draws, and frog pumps? Maybe. It's a little bit... I was just kind of scared to go for something like that with against Mill, but maybe I should have gone for that, huh? Seems like I should have. I don't have the island in my deck anymore. Can't quite present lethal here. Should try Picklock Prankster so Flare can give above creatures without menace. I think that could be interesting. I'm not a huge fan of that card. I do agree that flying would be pretty nice. I have a friend complained that Magic makes things into keywords. He prefers Yu-Gi-Oh! Route of printing entire essays on every card. Well, we have kind of gotten there with Magic too. It's an interesting game design element, I think. Alright, we'll just play another hexproof. Assuming I have another one. Wait, the other 3 are still in the deck. Doesn't get Fatal Pushed at least. I think I'm still casting this one. Monster with these 17 months. Hope you're doing well. Tasha's me down to 5 cards. We got a pretty... We're pretty good against Tasha's between Soulflayer and Riverwinder. It did get me for 12 cards, though. Okay, going to game 3 against my favorite matchup to play against, Mill. Oh, I forgot that that Picklock Prankster has Vigilance too. So if we put Picklock, say we played Picklock Prankster over Thought Scour, our hit quantity would be kind of bad, I think, which I don't love. Wouldn't Frog be ready for real? And on that board, Soulflayer is indestructible, doesn't die to Fatal Push, and is also a lethal attacker. I would certainly feel like I would just rather play the Soulflayer. It's also bigger. PDU for 30 months. Thank you. Welcome back. I don't think Prankster is a modern playable card. I have seen people register it recently, but I do kind of agree. What do you like complaining about more Titan or Mill? I like complaining about Mill more because, look, Mill players like to have fun. They go, surprise! It's Mill! Look, we're all, I'm gonna mill ya! And Titan players cyberbully you and don't engage with anything you say. I think I'm just gonna fetch a tapped tap land here. I'm not that interested in scouring myself aggressively in this matchup, I think. I'm gonna put any card on top, even a scour, because I think we're gonna get archive trapped. Okay, even if we're not, that's okay. Great. Yeah, just basically always leave on top. I just want to get like a tap land out of my deck here. Are we still on the cyberbullying memeing? Yeah, I think it's funny, Draven. I know you're always upset about whenever I make a fucking joke in here. But I feel like it's a funny meme. It's been 2 days. Shut up. You would have fetched a play around trap because they didn't have it last time. Makes sense. Put lol fella, it's gonna be okay, my guy. I mean, this is honestly, Draven, this is the problem with us. Our relationship is that you banter at me, I banter back, and you're like, I put lol fella. I know, I just, you know, I don't know. Maybe I could, maybe we could both be better, huh? Well, I don't have my island in my deck anymore. My opponent is surgically in Counterspell. So let's just go ahead and counter that. I can't give you shit if I can take it. I love you. Yeah, I know, Draven. Okay, I'm glad we're on the same page. I love you too. Unless I see you register Primeval Titan, then it's on site. All right, marriage counseling between me and chat this Saturday, 8 a.m. I missed yesterday's stream. Did I test Ketramose Necro Dominance? I did not. We played against it once. I know that that's becoming something kind of popular. I mostly think that the build that top 8'd or won the challenge that people are playing. Hold on, let me counter this. The one that's popping up, right? I think that deck looks great, and I genuinely don't have a lot of notes on it. And so this happens sometimes where like I think a deck just looks awesome, and I'm like, dang, I wish I thought of that. Like specifically, the Sickening Shoals are just they seem awesome, and I'm kind of surprised I've never considered it a Necro. Congratulations to them. And whenever like a new deck pops up, and I wouldn't change very much, I'm not like okay, we'll take it and just play it because it's out there. I got other stuff to work on. Is it totally insane to splash blue for Consign in the Monument Maka build? I don't think it's... No, I think that could be fine. I do think the Eldrazi matchup's very tough, and that's the best card against Eldrazi. The Charmals have not really been cutting it. The Opals help you hold it up pretty aggressively, too. I think I floated blue here. Just end up scouring them, and I'm going to get a Swamp. Sprawn with the 28 months. Hope you're doing well. Do you think this deck is decent in Timeless? I haven't played Timeless in a long time, so I don't feel very comfortable commenting on the viability of a deck in a format I don't play. But if you are a Timeless gamer and you feel like this deck could have some potential there, then by all means. Okay, we did get Archive trapped. I've got 32 cards in my deck still. Doesn't seem like I need to cast the Cling. I feel like I'll just be discarding Cling, and maybe also push here. So let's see if I have an untapped fetchable. Looks like I should have plenty here. Jesus with the 25 months. Thank you, welcome back. Alright, so hit my opponent for 4 down to 12. We draw another frog. That one's probably turning into frog food. Surveillant. Fluff view to 33. 33 is a couple of months. Hell yeah, it is. Couple. Okay, if a graveyard has 20 or more cards in it, draw 3. Let's say no to that one. Fly, my frog. I think frog is crazy against Smell. I made Timeless Ketramose. It's slightly worse since Swords is the format, but you also have access to Shaman. I mean, Sword seems really good with Ketramose, but yeah, also worse against Ketramose. That's kind of funny. Cool. Sounds fun. Listen, if there's ever like a sick Timeless tournament series, I am down to clown. Okay, so I'm going to put it for 7 here. Oh, okay, win the game. All right. Defeated Mill. Any tips for Balatro Gold Stake? Oh. Rigby with the 16 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Danik with the 56. I'm really into your Esper control list. Would Psychic Frog be a good replacement for Pride Inside? Yeah, I think so. I think it would be a good replacement. I'm kind of wanting to circle back to that build at some point. Balatro update stream. When the Balatro update comes out, I will stream it. Is my current plan. I'm really excited for it. I had a 840 mult Lucky Cat last night. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do one run before getting my stuff done, and it was crazy. I had a lot of natural negatives on Plasma Deck, which was wild. I had double Ectoplasm. I had Antimatter. I had double Oops All Sixes, 2 Brainstorms, 1 Blueprint, a Lucky Cat, a Burglar, which I was copying to get 9 extra hands, negative Hanging Chad, Sock and Bussin, all like Red Seal Kings. It was wild. It was crazy. I think there's Sewers here. Negative Sock and Bussin, and so I would just get all these extra hands, and then I would go retrigger my lucky cards on like 18 extra hands, and then I would just on the last hand I would copy my Lucky Cat and play a flush 5 and then win the round. It was awesome. Danny with the 56, not on the face of 19. I'm like, I was playing this. I'm like, man, I wish I was streaming right now. Yeah, I've done completionist plus. Yeah. No! What the fuck? What the fuck? Sorry about that. Do I get to kill them with the Ketramose? Yeah, I am sorry. I shouldn't have yelled. I was yelled. I knew it, but listen, I played against Bill twice in a row. I won't yell again. I do think we're gonna win here. A warning, so I need. I need a warning too. I need a warning. I'm playing against Mill twice in a row. You know. And you're gonna do something Mill player. Sorry about that. But they're just dead here, aren't they? Well, maybe I don't have enough cards in my yard. Yeah, I guess I don't have the Dark Blast. How many Force of Negations do I have? I have 1 Force of Negation left in my deck. Okay, so I've got a 6 Power Frog. And then I'm going to have 25 cards in my graveyard. And then, so that's going to give me the ability to exile this 8 times. Or exile 8 times, draw 8 cards. Those 8 cards make the frog 6 plus 8, 14. Yeah, and then I can discard 6 of them and do it 2 more times. So it seems like I have a win. Thanks, Mel. I'm sorry for yelling. I am sorry for yelling. I'm sorry. I should know better. Thanks, Mel. Wait, you don't have another archive trap, do you? No. You have force in deck. It's my turn, so I can't force. It's my turn, so I can't pitch the force. So maybe we don't go all in on Frog because it gets mill. I mean, it seemed definitely correct to not play around double Archive Trap. I don't know. I would do it again. You still had the win, didn't you? You just go off in response. Yeah. I'm gonna. The problem is, I had a draw on the stack. I had Ketramose isn't a May. I had Exile from the Frog on the stack, so I'm just dead. Yeah, I can't attack in response. Could work with this one. When a Nailbiter against Esper Oculus Ketramose deck with Maka Food, Monument Endurance does so much damage. Yeah, for some reason, like, that matchup has been good, and I can't really articulate why. Not too often you actually graveyard, but on the play, I think it's fine. Ray of Enfeeblement is interesting. How did you set in the sideboard? It's pretty good anti-Ketramose tech. That's kind of about it. Been playing it in some decks lately. Yeah, always main deck a single Emrakul, I guess. But you main phase, so there's less chance they draw an Archive Trap. Cast a third one, why don't you? Come on. Only 2 Archive Traps? What are you, new at this? It's gonna be a tough one. Is Monument any good in Modern? I think it's too slow, no. Better 3 drops around. We have a mono red build that we are 11-4 in leagues with, and I'm out of here. And 3-2 in challenges. So that's 14-5, which is pretty good. Monument is quite strong. Monument is quite strong. All right. If it's mill again, I will drop the league. Mountain with the 28 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Appreciate you. Prince and Emrakul. So red, green, red, blue through the breach. Having a great day, Mountain. Would be kind of nice if they would just tap that main phase so that I can know how much time we're wasting here, I guess. I'm gonna leave the Ketramose in the yard for now that I drew the Soulflayer. Okay, they did not hit a big Eldrazi. That's good news. If they do through the breach, I can draw 1 card looking for a force. Okay. 1 time. Oh, right, it's not my turn. Duh. Let's see if we would have had it if we drew on our turn now. All right, not a great start. Got some sideboard cards. Do you like the pending answers Yggdrasil and talismans? Let's try something like this. Yeah, now it seems that people are playing through the breach to counter the mill decks. Meta's evolving mid-league. All right, on the play. Really nice to have Force and a Thoughtseize. Obviously, we're really banking on our cyclers finding us some lands, but I think that's okay. Let's take the good card. Nice. I think I'm just going to Prismatic Ending the Talisman. And then we can go Ketramose, and then we can play a frog. Other talismans, okay. They do have an Odawara in the hand, though. Maybe I should have got another black source. Interesting. They still have that Odawara too. I was not expecting to get snared at all. Odawara mystery card over there. Well, they have a something. Okay, very tough for their mystery cards to be snare, dismember, Kozilek's command. I'm gonna let the dogs in. Lucy, come inside. Well, that's not a bad one. They put 3 on the top, so we can get one of those cards now. Stock up, huh? Cool. Stock up makes a lot of sense in the Through the Breach deck. I think it's the first place I've been pretty excited about it in. Alright, so exile the Riverwinder. Nothing else really matters. Draw a card, Ketramose can attack and it can block. See if my opponent double blocks here and then sacks both, maybe? Just let it happen. Ketramose's pretty bad draw because they have Odawara in their hand. Okay, and they didn't see the draw a helpful card, which is nice. Nor did I, which is not nice. Presumably my opponent will Odawara. My Ketramose can't Odawara the Soulflayer, of course. Not a bad one. They do deny the life gain. Good play. Cool game. Nice that things have started to go our way after their draws being pretty tough to deal with. Is that Through the Breach end of turn? Maybe I spoke a little soon here. So a little soon, it seems. Oh. A bait. Okay. Great. Great. Seemed a little aggressive. Maybe it's fine. How much more mid-range does Modern have to get before Counterspell is playable again? I mean, you may notice that I have 4 Counterspells in my deck right now. So there's that. I am currently of the opinion Counterspell is playable. I think that so one thing is, this is kind of an interesting point here. How much more mid-range does Modern need to get for Counterspell to be playable? I would say that a big part of the reason why Counterspell was not feeling like a particularly good card in Modern was that Counterspell was pretty bad against Energy, and Energy was the most popular deck. Hold on. Oh. I feel like that's kind of fair to say. is that for me that was a big part of the reason. Like energy was the most popular deck. It was bad against energy, and I think with this big uptick in Eldrazi and this big uptick in Breach and this big uptick in okay, I can't really do anything with the Relic. I guess we can cast it. Titan. It's like I think Counterspell is actively getting better. Is energy no more popular? Energy is falling out of popularity for the first time in a long time, which I'm pretty excited about. Simply put, energy is pretty bad against black-white. It's wild to think that a grindy mid-range deck has emerged that outgrinds Boros, but it seems to be the case that black-white is just really good against Boros, and it's hard for them to solve that matchup. So this is causing a decrease in energy's popularity. Weren't Dimir Frogs playing Counterspell at that time too? Well, yeah, the Dimir Frog decks are also bad, you know. And so and then also of course Dimir Frog seems to potentially have been buffed with Ketramose. So there's a few different ways you can build it. We're playing, of course, Soulflayer right now. Thank you, Matthew. But like also Counterspell is kind of good against the Ketramose decks is another dynamic, is that the grindy mid-range deck, the de facto mid-range decks, the Ketramose decks, have higher mana curves than energy, so Counterspell is better against them. Alright, we can keep this one. Looks good enough. What do you think about Domain Zoo, the meta? How does it compare to Breach and Blink? So if you play Domain Zoo, a big part of it would be that you feel that you have a really good Breach matchup. If you feel this way, if you think that this is the case, then I really encourage you to play the deck. That I think you should have a good Breach matchup between like Stub and Leyline Binding and Cheap Removal and Fast Clock. This should be a pretty good formula. Overall, it's a build that I think is pretty solid, but I think I would personally prefer to play Blink. So they did keep a card on top here. If it's Ugin's Labyrinth and they just get to go stock up, we're so screwed. I'm going to take the K command, I guess. This is I think this is not a good keep on their part, but they get really paid off if they found the lab. They did not find the lab. Maybe I guess I couldn't have scoured them after I had already taken that line. All right, let me just scour first. Ooh, Emrakul to shuffle is kind of juicy. Didn't think about that. Nice play. But yeah, I've been thinking Domain Zoo's been underplayed for a while, and I would encourage you to give it a go. I do think Stock Up looks kind of nice with this archetype. I've played Brain Surge in this build of Eldrazi through the Breach with where I'm also playing Calibrated Blast. So I'm like, you have Through the Breach Emrakul, and then you can also put Emrakul on top and Calibrated Blast it. But this is probably better. I didn't think the Calibrated Blast stuff was very good. Dingo 5 was you last night. I know the Dullkeeper Thrall builds are pretty popular. They seem pretty solid. All right, let's get in. Too many Soulflayers. A lot of lists were playing Doorkeeper Thrall. I think they'd be successful in open deckless tournament. I would say it would be way better in an open deckless tournament. I wonder if any of those are coming up, huh? It seems like that kind of stuff is usually better in open deckless tournaments, so you know if your main deck sideboard card is good or not. But I think Thrill is good. Thrill is good against Black-White. It's good against Titan. It's good against Breach. So, that's a pretty good thing to meta to target. There's been a lot of Dullkeeper Thrill fans in the chat lately, and in general, I support the card. All right, let's play a lifelinking Soulflayer here. Keep the Frog as a blue card. It's simultaneously good against Breach, also trim on it post board. Yeah, I think it gets a little worse post board when they bring in more answers. Okay, they can't quite Devourer here. My opponent might have a Kozilek's command in their hand. Hard to say. Hard to say here. Happy with the extra main deck life gain. Any idea what Green-White Ritual is meant to play for Alistair in the Black-White matchup? Just Thraben Charm. It's probably Thraben Charm. I've also been main decking Alistair a little bit. I'm having a hard time getting excited about that deck for whatever reason. I keep like trying to finish the sideboard, and I just think I've played too much of the archetype. Happens sometimes, get a little burned out. Would you rather Cascade into Footfalls or Hypergenesis? Depends on what's in my hand. Actually, Crashing Footfalls. I don't cheat in this modern format. I play legal cards and legal cards only. I'll see. And now everyone plays a lot of Graveyard Hate, and that doesn't really seem to be the dynamic anymore. Titan's moving away from Green Sun. Yeah, I know Canister is really off Green Sun. I think that most stock lists play it. So yeah, some people play it, some people don't. I'm just not sure if it's right or not. I think this is, of course, one thing about Titan is that there's a lot of good cards to fit in. A lot of good cards to fit in. Green Sun only feels good for every non-Titan play in the deck, it seems. I mean, surely it feels kind of good for Titan too, but... I've been cyberbullied too much. I have no comments. It's a good chance if my opponent plays another creature, I'm going to Murderous Cut it so I can get a Surveil land here. Why do you think Hollow One's underplayed? People just worried to play a deck where you have to gamble. That's maybe it. I think that's probably a factor. I also kind of think that the decks are like the stock list just still plays Nethergoyf, and at the time of making this comment, I still feel pretty confident in the fact that Nethergoyf is incorrect to play in the deck because it makes you a lot weaker to Graveyard Hate, and when you don't play Nethergoyf, the deck becomes more difficult to sideboard against. But I also don't know exactly what's right to play in those flex spots, and so I've been thinking about having like Hollow One week where we just try to solve Hollow One as an archetype, you know. Because I really think it just needs someone to really pressure cook it a little bit. Because it's really not obvious what you play in the flex spots, in my opinion. Might as well cycle here, I think. The mono red just more 4 Maka 4 depth. You maybe. Mono red is pretty interesting where it's like just so free to splash a color. Like, Flage is a card that I think is quite good in Hollow One. So your thoughts are Hollow Vine is the way? I don't think you have to play Vengevine, because Vengevine also makes you weak to Graveyard Hate, although Vengevine is better against Graveyard Hate than Nethergoyf because you can just cast it, and attack with a 4/3 haster. But I do think a Root Wall is pretty mandatory. I'm pretty Root Walla-brained. How do y'all feel about just letting this go? I just kind of lose if my opponent has another removal spell. Turnpike with the 43 months. Thank you. Welcome back. And they kept 2 on the top. When I run Hollow One, I struggle greatly against the Black-White Exile Shell. Is that similar to my experience? So I guess I would say that I haven't played against it very much because Um, when I was playing like my first draft of Hollow One with Marco Sharko, like nobody had Ketramoses, and then I started playing Ketramos right after that. So I would say that the matchup probably isn't very good. It kind of feels like you're at the mercy of like, did they draw Solitude Ephemerate? I would suggest maybe thinking about including Torpor Orbs in the board. That card is really hard for them to beat. I've played as Black-White, and I remember I lost to Hollow One pretty hard in a recent event. I do want to counter the Spirit End because I want to start using my 1-for-1s and not get my mana too gummed up. It's just too bad if my opponent has a creature, unfortunately. You want to go outside again? Okay, one top, one on the bottom. We're passing. Okay, now I can escape a Cling to Dust. At the cost of Soulflayer no longer being a castable top deck. Would make Ketramose immediately a attacker blocker. I really want to use Force of Negation, but it seems a little risky-bisky. I'm getting destroyed playing Eldrazi, so thinking about an Audible for Charlotte. Interesting. I was feeling like Eldrazi was getting better, but maybe maybe I'm just wrong. You are kind of a dog to a dog to Titan. The Breach matchup doesn't seem very good overall. I mean, it's just like, do you have fast Karn or do you not? Play draw matters a lot. Have a lot of sideboard cards. I think Black-White. I think Eldrazi is good against Black-White, which seems to be pretty popular. All right, it seems like we did the right thing when we played around. when we didn't discard 2 cards to Frog. Seems like we made the right call there. Yeah, I feel like Eldrazi's in a pretty good spot overall, though. Wait, I'm playing my creature into the Unholy Heat. That's gotta be so frustrating for opponent. Just hexproof. You're lucky there's no Ketramose in here, opponent. That's all I can say. My opponent's hand is Dart, Unholy Heat. Your hand is what? Removal spells, a thing in the past in this modern format. Not good anymore. So I leave those Soulflayer back. I make my opponent prowess me a bunch, which seems to be better if they're throwing a Lava Dart out. Canned with 3 years. Thank you. Welcome back. It's a long time, my friend. Put that in the yard for a future Soulflayer. Yeah, I think I'm okay to just sacrifice the Soulflayer to the Swift Spear here. Seems like we'll be okay. So my opponent's hand is just Lava Dart Unholy Heat, so it seems like a good time to hardcast the Force. Yesterday your deck had Ray of Enfeeblement, presumably over Dismember. Why did I make the choice? Ray of Enfeeblement doesn't cost you 4 life when you cast it. And 4 life's a lot of life. It's 20% of your life total. I almost want to scour them to see more of the list. Not quite that crazy. So, of course, Dismember is more versatile, but I think, in general, I like my sideboard cards to be more specialized, if that makes sense. Is this deck playable in Pioneer? I haven't played Pioneer in probably 16 months at this point. I have no idea what's going on in there. I don't know if anybody even plays Pioneer anymore. Clean draws 2 cards that gains the life. Yeah. But I think a bit better to not tap out a counterspell. Now my frog isn't super good because my opponent's got the Unholy Heat. Although this helps against the Unholy Heat. Feeling pretty good here. All right, we'll try to counter some pests. Let's cut the Thoughtseizes. I think I'm going to play the first cage. Just 1 mana, no flashback dart, no Underworld Breach. I guess it's bad with Pest Control, huh? Against Breach, I have Forces and I have Relics. I think I can play 1. T-Ray with 52. How was Bowmaster underplayed in the Ketramose Relic draw ability meta? Yeah, I think Bowmaster is in a weird spot. Like Bowmaster's not very good against Eldrazi. Bowmaster is not very good against Breach still. It is good against Black-White. It's not very good against Titan. It is good against Energy. I've almost just stopped thinking about Energy when I'm building my decks. Partially because I just keep playing a lot of Ketramose decks and they just are good against Energy. But Energy, I don't think Goldfish hasn't really reflected this, but Energy is really falling off. In my experience. Do you feel like Hidetsugu Consumes All is in a pretty good spot? I mean, if you're playing Pest Control, then it's hard to imagine that a very similar card is not also somewhat playable, right? Let's mulligan the 1-lander. The combo. I think it should be okay. In fact, I think we just put it back. Draw it later. How did Belcher fall off? Does it have a bad Breach matchup? That's a good question. I haven't played Belcher in a while. I've been kind of the opinion that it's probably pretty good. I haven't played it myself. So I guess I should have gone Archive into Swamp probably, actually. Although I do have the Counterspell. Yeah, but do we have any Belcher players in the metagame? Is the deck secretly really good? What's going on? So now I guess I get... Oh, it's kind of tough. Black-White has a good Belcher matchup, Phantoms and Avens. Okay, yeah, I mean, that's true. But Black-White also has a good Breach matchup, so Is it a wash? Should I have snared the iteration? Yeah. Well, saving it for a Breach isn't the worst. No snare. Yeah, I was thinking I really wanted to surveil and save it for Breach, but then I was like, nah, I probably should have just snared. I also have to fetch Shock, which I don't love. Laying low to avoid bans. Thank you for the honesty. Belcher just gets hit by the same Breach hate and is as good against Breach. Well, what's interesting is at the very least, I've been playing a lot of Grafdigger's cages, and wait, does Cage stop Tamashi? I don't think Cage stops. Maybe it does stop Tamashi. I should know this. What's the best deck in the format right now? Top 3 choices. The best deck is Titan, in my opinion. I really like the Ketramose decks. It's like Titan, Ketramose, and Breach, I think, are my top 3. Cage doesn't stop Tamashi? Okay. You just have to reread it every single time. It's just Okay, creature cards in libraries and graveyards can't in the battlefield. So yeah, so the players can't casting spells. That's what stops Breach. Yeah, Consign is good against Belcher, that's true. Not good against Breach. A good point. The Exilor Riverwinder here, a little far away from casting that one. And they start to play costs. I wouldn't mind drawing a land. I guess we're going to counterspell Ragavan. Where does Eldrazi stand in my rankings? Eldrazi's maybe number 4. The big problem I have with Eldrazi is that it is good against Black-White, but I don't think it's good against Breach or Titan, and so that's just like... if these are... But also, like, I don't know, like, maybe Eldrazi is, like... Eldrazi is more popular than Titan, so it's a kind of a weird metagame. Is Boros Energy still a good choice? I think Boros Energy actually has, like, no great matchups. Just have to force this one. Like, I don't think Eldrazi is a great matchup. It's maybe slightly favored. It's maybe not. I'm not really sure. But I think Boros is bad against Breach, and I think it's bad against Titan. I think it's bad against Black-White. So I really don't think there's much reason to play Boros Energy at the moment, which is great, which is very exciting. It's you know, that I do think that's cool that the metagame is, like, for a little bit at least, kind of evolved past that deck. I've been boarding Dampings for an Eldrazi. I feel like it's been a mistake. Should I avoid it? Yeah, I basically never boarded in against them. It's just like anti-Storm, anti-Titan for me. And every time I have it in my sideboard and I don't bring it in against Eldrazi, people are like, wait, what? No sphere? No sphere? I think we may just Vigilance Ketramose this turn. What do y'all think? I think I'm down. And then I can... This also, like, puts a Ketramose in the yard for Soulflayer, which is kind of funny. Probably already answered. Isn't Relic Flare Nombo? A little bit, yeah. I think you have to play some Relics in your Ketramose deck. It's just too good with it. And we're only playing 2 copies. And we're playing 2 Cling to Dust. Speak of Cling to Dust. So my general thinking is that with some careful management, it's not too big of a problem. Could be wrong. All right, let's get a 4-1 prediction going. After beating Mill, losing to Mill. Definitely happy enough with where this league is going. Like, almost none of the Energy players played Ocelot Pride. I think about that all the time. I also think about all the time, I can't remember the years, but I can put back Counterspell here. There was a couple Worlds tournaments. I think it was maybe like 2018, 19, somewhere in that era. Maybe 17, 16, where the entire Worlds metagame for like 2 years in a row was, when it was Modern, was Abzan midrange and Eldrazi. That was just all anyone played. And if any player either year chose to play Tron, they would have won Worlds. Like, just without like any resistance almost. Which I always just found... I think about that all the time. Okay, hopefully not a Scion. Cool. One guy did? Yeah, only one guy did? Yeah. Like, I remember there's like 1 or 2. I can't remember the numbers right, but... The fact that it was like... They just didn't have Ocelot Pride was crazy. It's just so interesting. Okay, didn't mill everything anything super juicy for Soulflayer, so we just play a Ketramose this turn. No cards in exile right now. The Flayer can account for 4, the Clean can account for 1. Yeah, none of them have the One Ring either. It's just like, it just takes so long to figure decks out. And there are so many decks to figure out too. It's like, you know, why I get to do what I do. Of all the Ketramose decks I've seen, this one is probably my favorite. Also looks the best. Yeah, I think like the fact that Soulflayer is in a deck where every card is good is kind of ridiculous, and Soulflayer is good in the deck too. It's very, very weird to see that. Obviously, we're not super duper maxing it out, but it still just is like hexproof, indestructible, lifelink, not menace. uh, sometimes, and it turns on Ketramose and enables Ketramose, and it's just nice. Including arena domain seems questionable. I think it's good to have some numbers when you're playing Flage. So they are the Dullkeeper throw build probably. 4 cards in their hand. How has Soulflayer been? It's a meme. I guess you tuned in 1 second ago. Wait, hold on. I saw you in the chat already, YRG. Wait! YRG? What is this? What is this? Oh. Super Windows 11. Soulflayer is looking nice. How has Soulflayer been? It's a meme. Trust your eyes, my friend. Trust your eyes. Scavenger Thoughts. Scavenger just dies in response to a removal spell. So my opponent has a Relic of Progenitus, I guess. Oh, sorry. I have a Relic of Progenitus. They have a Leyline Binding. And they're thinking if they want to let me draw any cards. They wisely choose no. And I draw a Psychic Frog. Life total's looking a little low. So I think I just pad it, Cycle Relic. Don't draw a push. Graveyard. Playing a land before looting, so they probably have another land in their hand, as we probably just get confirmed right here. So if I draw a Ketramose, am I going to Soulflayer it? No, I would just cast it. I guess we have to go all in. I guess the other option maybe would have been to try to Surveil here. Another binding. Alright, so game 2 we go. Don't love the Thoughtseizes in this matchup. Consign, like, they're kind of like both anti-binding cards. I think Consign tends to be a bit better. I think the first Force is also okay. Seems like a good config. One thing that's kind of nice with this matchup too is if they do Leyline Scion you, like maybe if you can get Ketramose online, you can like race a bit. Although I guess one problem is if that happens, we cannot get Scion off the board, but sometimes Frog just beats Scion. We have the Consigns, we have the Counterspells on the play. Maybe, I don't love to bring Thoughtseize on the draw. Yeah, Ray of Enfeeblement can be kind of good too. They are playing Doorkeeper Thrall, but they're probably boarding those out. It does make all their creatures white, but it doesn't kill Kavu if they have Leyline in play. I boarded them in recently. Let's kill Ragavan always. Yeah, I do think these decks still play Tribal Flames usually. Yeah, if I Thoughtseize my opponent, I can't make my Frog a 5/6 to block the Kavu, which was my goal there. Which also plays around Flames. And then I'm, chump blocking. Thoughtseize in the play. I don't think Thoughtseize is just good in the matchup in general, but if you would play Thoughtseize, like which card would you select it over? Because there's not really any card here I'm like super interested in cutting. Let's mulligan this one lander. Why doesn't Domain play the Enchantment Birthing Pod that Pioneer decks play? I think I'm going to get Swamp if I have to push turn 1 and play the Marsh Flats. Domain play the Enchantment Birthing Pod that Pioneer decks play. I mean, this is like an aggro deck, and that deck is a mid-range deck. They play really differently despite having, some overlapping Domain elements. Okay, now I think I'm going to get Godless Shrine. So I can either get a basic or Surveil here. Oh, I guess maybe I should have got Godless Shrine off the Marsh Flats. No, I'm never getting another Swamp. Right. Okay, Psychic Frog, your turn. Seismic deck after this one I already played. Haven't played it yet. I don't know if we're getting to it today or not. I'm going to play a second league of this. And then we'll see. Kavu. Kavu. It's okay. with no ley line. Obviously, hard for us to kill. Okay. So I can discard the Fatal Push and play around Flames. They're my preferred CS for Paper Magic. Don't feel really strongly about it. I was really into heavy play, but they had some print quality issues, like just really inconsistent batches. Yeah, I don't, no recommendation at this time. I don't know, maybe heavy play's gotten better. I don't know. It's been a while since I've played paper tournaments in general too. Okay, I guess we want to hold up the Force of Negation for binding. So if I scour and I miss, then on a blue card or a land, then we're kind of in bad shape. So let's not main phase the scour. No dash does kind of signify that they have the binding, doesn't it? Yeah, I haven't heard... I don't think I've really used katanas basically ever, but I don't think I've ever heard anything bad about them either. Okay, drawing a land to find a blue source for... or drawing a land for Consign would be really big, so I think we attack. Okay, so... if my opponent exiles my frog, I need to exile 6 cards from my yard to have Ketramose online. My favorite basic land print. I like the Return to Ravnica basic forest that has all the red rooftops. I don't think I've ever played with Katanas. Maybe like once. How's the lag? So the lag's been fixed for a little bit. They target me with the Flage. I'm at 10. And I didn't draw a land to hold up Consign for like the easy frog fireball. Don't think that they have another binding, or it's very likely. I think they just found one like last turn and then they just drew a land. Hope I'm not wrong about that. Okay, so if I shock in this Watery Grave, I go down to 6 life. I can discard 4 cards, and then I can exile... well, I guess I can't discard this Consign if I want to play around binding. But I can discard 3 cards, get this to 7 power. There will be 7 cards in my graveyard. I exile 2 of them, I go down to 4 life. Yeah, it just seems a lot more likely that... I think we can almost just rule out a leyline binding. And it seems like I would just want to try to play around Bolt instead. If they have a binding in their hand, I'm just really confused. Okay. Not around Flames. Well, I'm just going to kill them right now. So that plays around Flames if they're dead, right? And yeah, they should just be dead now. Just discard 3, I draw another card. Killing your opponent plays around Tribal Flames. I should want another Force of Negation on the draw. Trim a Riverwinder? Don't know if I want to do that. Trim a Cling. Yeah, there have been some Zatapa mentions, but I mean, for the most part, Ketramose is just a mini Zatapa that you're happy to draw instead of like, oh, I drew Zatapa. Ray with the 15 months, thank you, welcome back. I really like that this hand can play around Leyline Scion, and I like that this hand potentially can be a fast hexproof Soulflayer, so let's keep. Opponent's at a mill to 6. There's a Leyline. Hoping to dodge a monkey. Not too many games can you say, I'm hoping to dodge a monkey, and people just know what you're talking about. Indominus Rex. 1 blue-black hybrid, blue-black hybrid, green-green. So 6 mana. Enters, discard a number of creatures. Flying counter. So just counter for all of these. Interesting. Never seen that card. Did they exert this? Does it really matter? It doesn't look like they exerted it. Like there's a little blue text here from the leyline, which the same blue text is there sometimes for exerting, which is why I got a little confused. Extra 4/4 isn't like the best thing ever in this matchup, but I think we should play one here. Are getting a little flooded. 3 cards in their hand after they play this Temple Garden. Hopefully all leyline bindings. Why is a cycling card in the deck? So if you may notice, I cycled a Riverwinder this game. This card has hexproof. I have given my Soulflayer hexproof, which is pretty good to do. Make it be able to double block. Let's cycle first. Yes, let's go! Ketramose! Perfect hit. Nice. Hexproof, indestructible, lifelink. Pretty good for 2 mana. Gotta dodge another Scion really badly. Can double block the Kavu with the Stern. No attacks. Doesn't have Menace because Menace wasn't a thing when this card was printed, so it seems like we don't attack. Another land is obviously a poor draw. Doesn't help me deal with the Scion, so it has to go in the graveyard. This frog is really dead, but I mean, we have to play it. This frog is cooked for sure. Maybe not. Surprised this card is still in their deck post board. Straight up does nothing against me and just like scams their flages, which isn't even like that important to do. Y'all remember Giganta? I'm so glad that stupid card's gone. Big draw step. Last card might be a stub. Uh-oh. Don't be a Scion, please. Is it a Flage? Am I dead? I don't think... Am I dead to Flage? Flage hits me for 9, basically. Yeah, not dead. It is a Flage. That's bad. That's good. Great top deck for them. I'm going to hit effectively for 10 down to 3. And so if their last card's a Bolt, I lose. Why no swing the last 2 turns on the triple one? I needed to be able to double block and kill the Kavu so they don't get a free loot every turn and draw into Scion. So really, that draw really hurts. So now I have to attack with the lifelink or I'm dead. Yeah, drawing another land is pretty brutal here. What can you do? Okay, so I'm down to 3, so fetching doesn't seem to matter very much. I do have another Surveil land, so let's try to find a Ketramose, a Prismatic Ending. Oh, I should have Upkeep Surveilled for Fatal Push. Sorry about that. Might as well keep that one because I can mill over Cling. So like just slightly improved outs. Although I guess upkeep fetching doesn't, they just haste the Arena of Glory. So it doesn't really change anything. Or haste the Flays, yeah. Well, tough game. If we had just fetched on their turn and like just drawn the Scour, very tough game. All right, let's do one more. I think that the deck looked pretty good. We beat Mill, lost to Mill, lost to Domain Zoo. Where are the other matchups? It's been. Yeah, I'm okay losing to like a pretty tough Flood. Although we did get like very lucky to put that Ketramose in the yard, of course.